Anybody can get TB.
It is one of the top 10 causes of mortality globally.
There's 10 million new cases a year, 2 million die.
People will say, isn't TB cured already?
I mean, we thought we had won the battle, and we neglected it.
I think we can eradicate TB.
It will take a huge effort. I think it would be the biggest medical achievement since the eradication of smallpox.
We have to intensify what we do now in terms of vaccines, diagnostics and drugs.
I think it's urgent.
PanACEA is a consortium that collaborates to shorten the TB treatment duration. And we are 11 African and 6 European institutions. We've got 3 major trials ongoing, and these are led by Europeans and Africans as co-principal investigators. Transfer of leadership is really key to PanACEA.
The African institutions are growing and the European institutions are growing because of this partnership.
Now the treatment is too long. So if you shorten it, your compliance will increase. Then the emergence of drug resistance will go down, the cure rate will increase, and then you go towards TB elimination. It's massively cost effective. Drug development is not only about new drugs, it's also about new drugs, but it's about drug combinations. At this point of time, we've got a very good arsenal of standard drugs. But I'm convinced that 3 of those drugs are used in the wrong dosage. And if we optimize the doses of these 3 drugs, then the effectiveness of the TB treatment will increase also massively, I think.
So Predictive is a proof of concept study. It uses advanced imaging technologies. We call it PET-CT. It's an expensive imaging technology. And we use that as a super X-ray to determine the extent of disease in the lungs.
The tests that we use now to predict treatment success are old, that they have been shown not to be very sensitive, nor are they very specific.
We need much simpler and shorter regimens.
So everybody gets treated for 6 months. And it is really poorly understood as to why all of these patients are treated for such a long time, while we do know that the majority of those patients can get away with 4 months of treatment.
We use this project to find easily measurable markers for extent of disease in the blood. So we will be looking for blood markers that look a lot like the PET-CT markers that we can use to shorten treatment therapy, that we can use to identify those who can get away with shorter treatment therapy.
I think we can eradicate TB. I think we can only do so with a new TB vaccine. So we've had almost a century of one vaccine in use. It doesn't protect long term. When given in infancy, then we see adults developing the adult form of the disease. And it is the adult form of disease that's responsible for transmitting it to others, including to children. And so the cycle continues. So if we have a new vaccine, then we can test that vaccine for preventing progression to tuberculosis in older people who are already infected.
Arbeid op die oomblik word soos iets soos 'n stigma wat hulle mee sit en mee.
If we can demonstrate that vaccinating TB patients at the end of their treatment course works, that gives us a signal that such a vaccine might also be useful for preventing people who are already infected with tuberculosis from progressing to disease. The other opportunity then is to take a vaccine that reduces the rate of relapse in treated patients and go to the treatment community and say, well, let's try and reduce the duration and complexity of that TB treatment course. Reducing the treatment duration to 4 months, for example, in combination with a vaccine would be a major advance.
It's an eradicable disease because it's a curable disease.
It is possible, better diagnostics, shorter treatment, better vaccines, and then improved health services.
Waarmee ieders bezig is met die research, dat TB kan vasgevang word as skoner.
For the first time, we may be nearer to our goal of preventing both infection and disease caused by tuberculosis.